Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Balkanska Farma. But before that, this video is brought to you by Chasey Dog and Peter Dressler. Thank you for being farm barons. The Balkanska Farma map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let me read you a little bit of the description. Welcome to Balkanska Farma. The Balkanska Farma map is modeled after the Balkan terrain. The main part of the map is a forest that has very inaccessible terrain. Start your career and discover the numerous challenges that await you. On this map, you will find small fields and things like varied terrain, added tree and foliage textures, new ground paint textures, one playable farm, changed lighting, 26 fields, gas station, the possibility to fill water from a pond, animal dealer, sell points for multiple things like bales, products, and grain, multiple seasonal objects, and a very detailed forest. That is from the map author. This map also has one required mod in the Polish house, so be sure to download that as well. We are going to use the normal mod, so we take a look at maps with. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. See, we also have the Polish house selected. I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you will find the main farm is built out exactly how you see it here in new farmer mode. You do own machinery, you do have buildings at the farm, you do not own any land, and of course your bank account is going to vary depending on which play mode you select. When you first load into the map, you load in right here at the Polish farmhouse, which is the required mod you need to download with this map. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. And one of the first things you're going to notice is this is a small map. This is a little bit bigger than what I would classify as a micro map. We're just talking about a small map here. Maybe 1/10 the size of a normal map. It's hard to say given the shape, but we are zoomed all the way out here, and typically a normal map is going to fill up a pretty good hunk of this grid. This map does have all of the standard crop types available to us in Farm Sim 22, and let's go ahead and just zoom on in here and take a look at the lands area. You'll see we start out by owning farmland ID number 22, which is the main starting farm, farm ID 12, 42, and 41. As far as the starting farm goes, it is 0.37 hectares in size. Again, that will give you a little bit of a frame of reference as to how big the fields are on this map and how big the area of the map itself is. And that can be bought for $14,704. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. Farmland lease screen is going to show us all of the buyable farm lands on the map, if we own it or do not own it, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include fields or fields, which field or fields are included, and then ultimately how much is that farmland going to cost us. We start up owning 12, 22, 41, and 42, as I mentioned earlier. That includes fields 2, 15, and 14. See, these farmlands are awful small. That may be ideal for a small-time farmer, someone looking to play with maybe 75 horsepower or less. Taking a look at our field calculator screen, this is going to show us the sizes of each particular field. Then you cross-reference that with the farmland lease screen in order to get a representation of how much it's going to be to purchase a given field. But look here, we've got field 25, 0.27 hectares in size. That is pretty much the largest field we have on this map. Taking a look at our crop counter, we do have the standard FS22 crop counter available to us on here. Looking at our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that we can grow in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we do have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk. We also have the ability to sell our silage, hay, straw, and grass. Now, when it gets down here to our production items, you will see we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game production items as well on this particular map. The map includes 10 production items built in. Given its small size, that is quite a feat. Now, we do not have the ability to buy bulk lime, but that's not that big of a deal. And we do have a stone crusher. So if we are looking to get rid of our stones and we play with stones enabled, we do have that ability. Now, if you happen to have the Platinum expansion, this map does not have the ability to sell any of the Platinum expansion production items built in. So should you happen to put any of these items down, you will need to put down your own sell point for those items. Taking a look at our starting equipment, we start out with a very, very short list of starting equipment. All of it is owned, none of it is leased, all of it has high operating hours, and has terrible, terrible maintenance. None of this machinery is going to be worth a darn. So you might as well make use of it as opposed to trying to sell it off at the start in order to pad to your bank account. This map does not have any animals built in. We do have contracts available, and we do not own any production chains at the start. This map also is not making use of the collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the Bureau 6105 and the Zetor Z25K small tractors. We have the Nova 330 harvester that is paired up with the PowerStream 500 grain header. We have the Welger DK115 trailer. We have our Servo 25 plow. We have the EG39 Rabe cultivator. We have the Nordstein HK25 NS3030 seeder in Power Hero combination. And we have the Amazon ZATS 3200 fertilize spreader. Now, with respect to mods and DLCs, you will see that this map does not include any custom vehicles or implements. Let's go ahead and take a look at build mode. And in taking a look at build mode, you'll see that under the sheds section, we do have a custom garage that is available that we can put down. Also under silos, we have a custom weathered farm silo and a small silage bunker that we can place down. We have all standard silo extensions, containers, tools, and then for our farmhouse, we do indeed have the required mod farmhouse that we could also place if we wanted to. We do not have any custom productions that we can put down on the map, nor do we have any custom sell points, greenhouses, orchards, or generators. We're working with all standard animals on this particular map and all standard deco items as well. Now, actually, take that back. We do have one custom deco item in an old hay pile that is here at the starting farm. And then while the description said that we had new ground paint textures, these look very, very similar to our standard FS22 ground textures. Let's just go ahead and put those down just to have a little closer look at them. We have our animal mud, our asphalt, our dirt, forest ground, and our rock. And then we have standard FS22 plants and standard FS22 trees. Our animal mud. I don't know, it may look a little darker mud, I don't know. Our asphalt. Well, that definitely is not standard. We have our forest ground, and then we have our gravel. Now, let's go ahead and do a little bit of a farm tour here. We've got our main starting farmhouse, right? With our sleep trigger. Then we have a series of garages. This one we have some pallets of seed. We have some pallets of fertilizer. Then we have our fertilizer spreader. Another garage with our Zetor. And another one with some of our groundwork equipment. Here we have that deco hay mound. Now this can be sold. In fact, everything at the starting farm, including the gate and fence that is around it, can indeed be sold. So with respect to can the farm or farms be customizable, the answer is yes. So the map will be getting a full point there with respect to can the farms be customized. We've got our silo, so we have our fill point and our dump point. And then we have our pull-through small silage bunker. Is located right there. And that can be removed as well. And that is pretty much the farm tour. Now, before we get on with anything else, I do know that I have once again been remiss and missed out on covering the soil map. So let's go ahead and take a look at the precision farming soil map that is available on Balkanska Farma. You'll see this is the standard generic soil map with respect to the fields we own. It is like silty clay across those fields. We have some loam as well. And then down here to the southwest corner, we have several fields with sandy loam and loamy sand. Let's go ahead and take to the skies a little bit. Here we have our starting farmyard. Then our other tractor and harvester are staged across the river here. And our other two starting fields. The harvester set up to harvest our wheat. Then we have our your tractor set up to start cultivating our ground. We have seed our ground. So, then with respect to water from the pond, here you can see we've got an underwater wooden ramp coming down here that we can back into and then get our water from this water trigger. Once again, if we go full size on the mini-map, you can again get a various representation about how small this map truly is. Go ahead and kind of swing around to the north. For obvious reasons, we're not going to be doing a drive around on this map because, well, it's just so darn small. To the north, we have several small fields, including one up here kind of on the incline, on a little bit of a plateau. Someone looking for some fun with forestry. Well, you do have quite a bit of forest to work with. Fairly dense as well, it looks like. And now, as we come down here into town, let's talk about the 10 production items that are built into this map. We have a cereal factory, we have a bakery, a tailor shop, we have a sugar mill, carpentry, a dairy, a grain mill, oil mill, grape processing center, and a spinnery. So here we have our grain mill. That is right by our starting farm because there you can see our pure tractor and our harvester. We also then have the carpentry, oil mill, a grape processing area. We have a biogas heating plant here that's going to accept our logs and wood chips. We have our spinnery, our dairy, our bakery. We've got a restaurant sell point over here. Now, with respect to the ability to sell all of our base game crops, production outputs, and animal outputs, we are going to give the map a full point because we do indeed have that capability. We have our tailor. Here we have our animal dealer. If you do want to put down animals, we have an animal dealer sell point and animal dealer trigger itself right there. We are going to give the map a full point as well with respect to production being built in. Here we have our sugar mill. Our vehicle workshop is to the extreme southwest of the map. I would pull up the big map, but, well, I don't think it's going to really help you out. Just know that it is extreme southwest besides fields 23, 24, and 25. Let's go ahead and get our Mahindra, even though we're not going to drive around in it, just to see where the vehicles spawn in at. We've got for the size of the map, a decent area here for our vehicles to spawn in. You note we have a fairly narrow area to get through, but again, the size of these fields, we are talking about working with small machinery, small implements, and small tractors. Now here at our dealer, we do have a maintenance trigger, which is right here, right by the loading ramps. We do not have the trigger markers indicated, but when I took a look at the trigger size, it is just a little bit bigger than the loading ramps itself. If you drive your vehicle right up to the point where you're touching the loading ramps, you should be good to go there. Also have our fuel depot here. Grocery sell point. Another restaurant style sell point. Then our cereal factory. And here we have our sawmill. So we have our wood chips. We have a bale sell point. We have our log sell point as well as our interactive trigger to sell the logs. And while we don't have a floating icon here, it does appear that we have an indicator marking that that is a sell point. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. That does list it as selling station 2, selling station 1, which is for bales, wood sale, and wood chips. Buildings where appropriate are using the new texture technique. I'm going to give the map 3/4 of a point there. A lot of these buildings are straight out of one of the FS22 built-in maps, but there are a few custom things that are not in FS22 maps, and those to some degree may or may not using the new textures. For example, this house here. So we are going to go with just 3/4 of a point there. We have our stone crusher stored away here south of field 13. And guys, that is pretty much the farm tour. So with respect to trigger and interactive areas being clearly marked, we've got a couple areas that are a little questionable on how well they are marked. We are going to give the map 3/4 of a point there as well. So those keeping score, that is going to give you 4.5 out of 5 on this particular little small map. Ideal for small machinery, right? If you've been itching to use some of those 3-meter cultivators, sub 1-meter plows that are over on the Giants Mod Hub, then this map may be the map for you. Let me know, guys, what you all think down in the comments below. And until next time, happy farming.